I'm revealing the truth about North Korea that I witnessed. As Ri Sol-ju's personal secretary. With this single statement from North Korean defector Park Soyeon pseudonym, the National Intelligence Service briefing room was thrown into shock. For 10 years, she worked at the very core of North Korea's highest power structure. The USB drive she risked her life to bring across the border contained 127 audio recordings of Kim Jong-un's voice, 89 slush fund accounts, and 340 pieces of evidence of massacres against the people. What could a mere secretary possibly know? Some media outlets scoffed at her claims. But 3 months later, after the National Intelligence Service completed their verification, the Blue House was turned upside down. Even more shocking was Ri Sol-ju's final message: if I disappear, reveal all of this to the world. Why did the wife of North Korea's supreme leader entrust evidence that could topple the regime to her secretary? We now reveal the shocking truth behind this story. My name is Kim So-yeon. I arrived at Incheon Airport on October 15, 2022. I was 42 years old. I worked as Ri Sol-ju's personal secretary for 10 years, witnessing the most secret life of North Korea's highest levels. I was born in Pyongyang in 1980. My father was a party cadre and my mother graduated from Pyongyang Music and Dance University. We were privileged class. But strangely, there was almost no laughter in our house. When I was 8, I overheard my parents talking at night. Comrade Kim next door was taken away. Someone reported him for watching South Korean dramas. Even at that young age, I sensed something was wrong. I majored in foreign languages at university. In August 2012, I was suddenly called by the organization department. I was 32 years old. You will work as Comrade Ri Sol-ju's personal secretary. I couldn't believe it. On my first day, a state security agent followed me. From now on, all your actions will be recorded, a senior said. My mother's face turned white when I told her. Your life has completely changed. I discovered Ri Sol-ju's schedule was written by the minute. Even bathroom time was recorded. All her actions must be reported, even how many minutes in the bathroom. I got goosebumps. After a week, Ri Sol-ju called me. You seem different. Your eyes look honest. She began giving me special tasks. A month later she asked, do you have family? Yes, my parents. She smiled bitterly. I envy you. That you can freely love your family. I didn't understand then, but I began noticing strange things. At official events she smiled brightly, but alone. She always looked serious and sighed deeply. State security agents were always around her, recording everything. Once she wanted to meet her mother. Meetings not on schedule or impossible. You must apply in advance. She couldn't even freely meet her own mother. Same with food, books, everything needed approval. I gradually understood. Ri Sol-ju was trapped in a golden prison. One night working late, I brought her tea. Tears welled in her eyes. What do you think freedom is? She asked. Being able to do what you want, that's right. But I don't have that freedom. I can't do what I want or see who I want. Even my thoughts aren't free. Someone is always watching. I had nothing to say. After that day, I saw her differently. She wasn't happy with everything. She had lost the most, her freedom. But I didn't know this was only the beginning. Now in the Republic of Korea, I will tell you the truth from that time. Working there, I learned how thoroughly controlled the highest levels' lives were. Outwardly glamorous, but actually a huge prison. Ri Sol-ju's day was planned by the minute. Everything was scheduled. I had to confirm and report whether she followed this schedule. Even bathroom entry and exit times were recorded. The first few weeks were really hard. If she spent over 10 minutes in the bathroom, state security called. Why so long? Is something wrong? Every time I had to answer, nothing wrong. She'll be out soon. Once she wanted to meet her mother. But they said, meetings not on schedule or impossible. You must apply in advance. She couldn't even freely meet her own mother. Meals were the same. If she wanted cold noodles, they said, there's an approved menu from the health management team. She couldn't choose what food she wanted to eat. Books couldn't be read freely either. Any book needed review by state security first. Once it took 3 weeks for approval. Phone calls were monitored. All calls were recorded. Even calls with her mother. I once saw the recording room. Dozens of recorders were running. All calls are recorded and analyzed. Any impure content is immediately reported. Travel passes were needed too. To go outside Pyongyang required advance permission. Everything had to be reported: where, why, who she'd meet. State security agents were always around. Officially security guards, but I knew their real role: surveillance. They recorded everything: who she met, what she talked about, what expressions she made. I was monitored too. From arrival to departure, someone watched me. What I talked about with Ri Sol-ju, what documents I saw, everything was reported. Once there was an intensive inspection period. Before Kim Il-sung's birthday, state security came and searched everything: closets, desks, even her makeup table. Looking for impure materials. Most shocking was the 3-generation background checks. Everyone in contact with Ri Sol-ju was investigated, including grandparents. For any South Korean origins, defector families, or religious history. One friend was caught. Her grandfather went south during the war. She was immediately dismissed and exiled to the provinces. She did nothing wrong, but her life was ruined because of her grandfather. The bribery economy was serious too. Good positions required money. People paid thousands of dollars for positions near Ri Sol-ju. Even state security agents took bribes to falsify reports. The guard command's power was beyond imagination. They directly guarded Kim Jong-un and his family. Everyone feared them. If they had any suspicion, even high cadres were taken away. Class discrimination was severe. Even among party cadres, rations differed by rank. High cadres received imported food and luxury goods. But lower cadres barely received basic rations. Ri Sol-ju knew this discrimination. Once she said, "Soyeon comrade, outside people are starving to death. But we eat so well. Is this normal?" I couldn't answer. But the Republic of Korea was different. Here no one times my bathroom breaks. I can freely choose what food I want. I can meet people without permission. This is real freedom. I feel it every day. From the mid-2010s, North Korean society was changing rapidly. Outwardly maintaining socialism, but actually money controlled everything. Markets spread rapidly. Over 10 large markets in Pyongyang alone. People trusted markets more than state rations. Rations didn't come on time, but markets always had goods. But to sell at markets required money. Had to pay stall fees minus $50 to $100 monthly. When workers' monthly salary was about $5, this was huge. Where did that money go? Into market management office cadres' pockets. Money masters emerged. People with over $10,000. They did business or smuggled with China. Surprisingly, most were connected to party cadres or state security agents. This happened around Ri Sol-ju too. Once a wardrobe staff brought in high-grade fabric from China. Smuggled without proper permission. "How did you pass customs?" I asked. "If you pay money, everything works," she answered. She paid the customs officer $300. Korean wave smuggling flourished. USB drives with South Korean dramas and movies came in. Traded secretly even in Pyongyang. $30 to $50 per USB. If caught, political prison camp, but people kept buying. I once watched a South Korean drama too. Around 2016. A colleague secretly showed me my love from the star. At first I was scared. If caught, it was over. But I couldn't resist curiosity. It was shocking how freely South Koreans lived. Ate what they wanted, went where they wanted, loved who they wanted. No one monitored them. Completely different from what we learned. We were taught, South Korea is hell. An American colony. But it wasn't like that at all. The bribery economy became more serious. To enter good universities required money. $10,000 for Kim Il-sung University, $5,000 for Pyongyang Foreign Language University. Officially selected by grades, but actually money decided. Job assignments too. $3,000 to stay in Pyongyang, $2,000 for good enterprises. Military also solved with money. $5,000 to go to units near Pyongyang instead of dangerous border guard. Party cadres' corruption was beyond imagination. Once Ri Sol-ju went on a provincial inspection. South Hamgyong Province. The provincial party secretary came to greet her, wearing a Swiss Rolex watch. Over $20,000. How can he wear such a watch on his salary? I asked later. A senior laughed. Who buys with salary? It's all bribes. That secretary received monthly tributes from enterprises in his jurisdiction. Over $10,000 monthly. Class divisions became clear. Privileged class in core Pyongyang areas, middle class in Pyongyang outskirts, lower class in provinces. The gap between these three classes kept widening. Privileged class children all studied abroad. China, Russia, even UK and Switzerland. Study abroad costs alone were $30,000 minus $50,000 yearly. Money ordinary people couldn't save in a lifetime. Ri Sol-ju knew this reality too. Once she said, "Soyeon comrade, while we drink imported wine, people in provinces are starving to death." Is this socialism? It was true. Her table daily had French wine, premium Japanese fruit, Australian beef. One meal cost over $500. Same time in North Hamgyong, children died eating grass porridge. One day in 2018, Ri Sol-ju opened her secret safe and showed me something. Some documents. Nuclear weapons development budget details. In 2017 alone, $1.5 billion spent on nuclear weapons. That money could supply food for all North Korean people for a year. But it went to weapons development. How many lives could this money save? Ri Sol-ju asked. I couldn't answer. Soyeon comrade, I see these numbers every day. And every night I have nightmares. Dreams of starving children resenting me. High cadres embezzlement was serious too. Finance Ministry cadres managing state budget embezzled tens of millions of dollars yearly. Hidden in secret Chinese bank accounts. Even if caught, not punished. Because Kim Jong-un's close associates did the same. System contradictions reached extremes. Preaching socialism while having worse inequality than capitalism. Saying for the people while people starved. Talking self-reliant economy while depending on Chinese aid. Coming to the Republic of Korea, I was shocked. Even poor people ate meals. Government provided basic livelihood benefits. Free meal centers existed. Unimaginable in North Korea. Here they truly care for citizens, I felt. October 18, 2017, the day my life completely changed. That day Ri Sol-ju left for a 3-day inspection of South Pyongan province. I was assigned to clean her personal office and restroom. I was cleaning more carefully than usual. While wiping behind a bookshelf, I discovered something strange. A very small gap between the bookshelf and wall, something stuck there. I carefully pulled it out, a small notebook. Nothing written on the cover. Opening it, writing filled the pages in Ri Sol-ju's handwriting. It was a diary. The moment I read the first page, my hands trembled. March 12, 2015. Today I acted again. How long must I wear this mask? Sometimes looking in the mirror, I don't know who I am. Before him, I must always be careful. I don't know what will happen if I make a mistake. I read on. August 7, 2016. Every night the same dream. Walking freely on streets, where no one watches me. But when I wake, it's reality. I'm a bird in a golden cage. February 20, 2017. Today he got angry, because I held a foreign guest's hand too long when shaking hands. His jealousy is beyond imagination. I'm just his possession. More shocking content appeared. September 15, 2017. Someday everything will collapse. This system cannot last forever. When that time comes, I will tell the truth. Even if it takes my life. I got goosebumps. Ri Sol-ju was thinking like this. If this diary was discovered, the consequences were obvious. Trying to hide the diary back, I touched something else behind the bookshelf. A small key. What key was it? I looked around the office again. At the bottom drawer of Ri Sol-ju's desk was a very small keyhole. But that drawer was usually unlocked. I opened the drawer. Ordinary documents on the surface. But looking closely at the drawer bottom, the wood panel seemed to lift slightly. Lifting it revealed a small secret space. A small safe was hidden there. The key I found fit the safe. I hesitated. Should I open this? But curiosity was stronger. Opening the safe, it contained several items. Some photos, a USB, and another notebook. Looking at the photos, They were private moments of Kim Jong-un and Ri Sol-ju together, but completely different atmosphere from public photos. Kim Jong-un angry, Ri Sol-ju crying. What was on the USB? I looked around, then carefully plugged it into the computer. It contained audio files, recordings of conversations between Kim Jong-un and high cadres. I listened to a few. The content was truly shocking. Ri Sol-ju seems too free. Shouldn't we control her more? Kim Jong-un's voice. Yes, Supreme Leader. We will monitor more thoroughly from now on. Someone else answered. Another file was even more shocking. I don't know what that woman is thinking. Sometimes her eyes looking at me are strange. We will investigate everyone around her more thoroughly. Good. Identify everyone close to Ri Sol-ju. Remove anyone suspicious immediately. The third file discussed the people. Do you know what the people think of us? Outwardly they pretend to worship, but inside they all resent us. That's why we must control them more powerfully? Right. Remove anyone even slightly suspicious. The people are like dogs and pigs. Just feed them enough and use them. I couldn't listen anymore. My hands were shaking too much to hold the mouse. I opened the last notebook. Records of corruption and abuses by North Korea's highest levels that Ri Sol-ju personally witnessed. April 3, 2016. Vice Minister Kim Chol-soo of Finance Ministry embezzled $30 million from state budget. Transferred to Chinese bank's secret account. But not punished. Because he's his brother-in-law. September 10, 2016. Nuclear weapons development budget $1.5 billion. This money could supply food to all North Korean people for a year. But people are starving to death. March 22, 2017. He ordered 50 bottles of imported wine. $5,000 per bottle. Total $250,000. Same day, 120 starvation deaths reported in North Hamgyong. The last page read, "The person called Supreme Leader is just human after all. Drunk on power, suspicious, even cruel. While people starve, he drinks imported wine daily. High cadres the same. Everyone just taking care of their own interests. No one truly for the people." I was shocked seeing all this. Why was Ri Sol-ju keeping such dangerous records? If discovered, it meant accepting death. Hastily putting everything back in place, I suddenly heard footsteps outside. Someone was coming. I quickly locked the safe and closed the drawer. The person who entered was a security guard. Simple patrol. But from that day on, I was completely changed. I realized everything I'd believed and lived by was a lie. When Ri Sol-ju returned from inspection, I saw her differently. She wasn't simply the Supreme Leader's wife. She was someone suffering because she knew the truth but couldn't speak it. "Soyeon comrade, are you okay? You don't look well," Ri Sol-ju asked worriedly. "Yes, I'm fine," I answered, but I wasn't fine at all. That night Ri Sol-ju called me. "Soyeon comrade, can we talk for a moment?" I approached carefully. Ri Sol-ju looked straight into my eyes. "Comrade, did you discover something?" At that moment I realized. Ri Sol-ju had deliberately led me to discover those things. Everything was planned. "Comrade, why those things?" I asked in a trembling voice. Ri Sol-ju hugged me tightly. "Soyeon comrade, now you know too. What a huge lie we're living in." That night she explained everything. How long she'd been collecting those materials, why she was doing such dangerous things. "I've endured this truth alone for a long time. But I can't bear it alone anymore." Her voice was filled with despair. "Comrade, why show me these things? It's too dangerous?" I asked worriedly. "I've watched you for 5 years. You're different from others. You have the courage to face the truth." From then on, she showed me more. Kim Jong-un's cruel nature, high cadres' corruption, people's real suffering. Everything was opposite of what I knew. From December 2021, strange things began happening. People around Ri Sol-ju started disappearing one by one. Secretary Kim, who worked 15 years, died of heart attack. Security team leader died in traffic accident. Wardrobe designer was shot. "Soyeon comrade, they suspect me. They've noticed I'm hiding something." In September 2022, Ri Sol-ju's brother was purged. No official announcement, but she didn't leave her room for days. A week later when she called me, her face was very gaunt. "Soyeon comrade, I think time is really running out. They even touched my brother. I'll be next. That night she made a shocking proposal. Soyeon comrade, you must survive. And tell the world the truth. She handed me a small box. Take this. If something happens to me, take this and go south. Inside was a small USB. Much smaller and more sophisticated than what I'd seen before. Everything is in here. This country's truth, his true nature, everything the people should know. Tears welled in her eyes. Comrade, why do such dangerous things? Can't you just pretend not to know? I asked desperately. Soyeon comrade, every day I see millions of people suffering. They're living without knowing the truth. If I know the truth and do nothing, I'm an accomplice. On October 1, 2022, she called me again. Her face was pale. Starting tomorrow I'll be under special investigation. He directly ordered it. Then what should we do? Soyeon comrade, you must leave here tomorrow dawn. If later, you'll be in danger too. She put several documents in my hand. This is a travel order to North Pyongan province. I prepared it in advance. Use this to get near the border. But what about you? I asked tearfully. I must stay here, to buy time for you to leave safely. And anyway, I have nowhere else to go. That night was my last meeting with Ri Sol-ju. She hugged me tightly. Soyeon comrade, I was truly happy meeting you. You were the only one who understood my heart in this hellish place. I cried answering. Comrade, me too. Thanks to you I learned the real truth. Soyeon comrade, last request. If I disappear, tell the world everything. North Korean people have the right to know the truth. And when unification comes someday, help people make the right choice then. Those were Ri Sol-ju's last words. Next morning at 5 a.m., I left Pyongyang. Officially North Pyongan business trip, but actually eternal farewell. Watching Pyongyang disappear through the car window, I cried. I told my parents only it was a business trip. Couldn't tell the truth. If they knew I was defecting, they'd be in danger too. My heart felt torn. I knew I'd probably never see my parents again. On the train I kept tensing. Had state security already noticed my escape plan? But fortunately, no one seemed to suspect me. I arrived in Sinwiju around 3 p.m. First I handled official business. In case of investigation later. Stopped by the regional party committee, attended formal meetings. But inside I was making escape plans. The USB contained not just North Korean secrets. It also had escape routes and contacts. I could tell how long Ri Sol-ju had prepared this plan. I decided, I would definitely tell the world the truth Ri Sol-ju entrusted to me, risking her life. That was my final duty to her. October 14, 2022, 8 p.m. Time to execute the plan. At a farmhouse outside Sinwiju, I called the contact number on the USB. A man about 40 appeared. Korean person? He asked in Chinese. I nodded. Hurry. Dangerous here. He drove me near the Tumen River. About 1 hour. I kept looking back, to check if anyone was following. Arriving near the river, my heart felt like bursting. The farmer said, wait here until night. After patrol passes, I'll guide you. 11 p.m. came. Time now. But very dangerous. Really going? I nodded. Yes, I must go. Walking to the river took 30 minutes. Had to walk carefully in darkness. Each step was careful. If we met patrol, everything would end. Reaching the riverbank, I felt desperate. The river was much wider than expected. Current looked strong. Now is best time. Water level is low, but still dangerous. See those lights? That's China. Can you swim? Yes, a little. Good. But water very cold. If patrol boat appears, immediately hide underwater. I undressed, wrapped the USB and important documents in plastic bags and tied them to my body. Then carefully entered the water. The water was really cold. Mid-October but like ice. Breathtaking. But I couldn't give up. Thinking of Ri Sol-ju's last request, I started swimming. About 10 minutes later, suddenly I saw lights. Patrol boat. I quickly took a deep breath and dove underwater. My lungs felt like bursting, but I had to endure. If caught, it was over. About 30 seconds? Couldn't hold longer, so I slightly surfaced. The patrol boat was fortunately passing. But had to wait until it completely disappeared. Started swimming again. Arms and legs wouldn't obey. Lost sensation from the cold water. Thought I might die in the river. But I thought of Ri Sol-ju's face. Soyeon comrade, you must survive. And tell the world the truth. Thinking of those words, I endured. About 20 minutes of swimming? Finally reached the Chinese side. I collapsed exhausted on the shore. My whole body trembled, not just from cold, from tension and fear. Suddenly someone appeared. A Chinese person. Korean person? He asked in Chinese. I nodded. Hurry, come. Dangerous here. Patrol coming soon again. He took me to a nearby house. Gave me warm clothes saying, you lucky. Patrol just passed. 30 minutes later, you'd be caught. I could finally breathe. I'd crossed the Tumen River. Now I couldn't return to North Korea. Next morning I met a broker. A Korean Chinese man about 50. Going to Korea? How much money? I showed the money Ri Sol-ju prepared. This enough. But dangerous. If caught midway, I don't know anything. The route he explained was complex. China to Laos, then Thailand, then help from Korean embassy in Thailand. At least 1 month. Must absolutely not be caught. I hid in China for a week. Stayed in basement during day, only briefly outside at night. Meanwhile kept checking news, to see if my escape was reported. A week later started moving. Got fake ID. Disguising identity as Korean Chinese woman. Never speak Korean, only use Chinese. On the train to Kunming was really scary. Every time ticket inspector came, my heart felt like bursting. What if identity discovered? If returned to North Korea, I'd die. From Kunming crossed to Laos. Crossing the border was most dangerous. Passed by giving bribe, $300. Laos to Thailand by bus. Took 2 days. At Thai border gave another bribe. $200. Arriving in Bangkok, I felt real freedom for the first time. On the streets people freely laughing and talking. No one monitoring. Went to Korean embassy. I'm a defector from North Korea. Please help. Staff guided me to safe place. A week later boarded plane to Korea. October 15, 2022, 3 p.m. Arrived at Incheon Airport. Just 3 seconds after getting off the plane, I almost collapsed. People were laughing. No one monitoring, just laughing. A sound I'd never heard in 37 years. The real sound of freedom. What's wrong? Are you sick? NIS staff asked worriedly. I answered in trembling voice. People are just laughing. No one monitoring, just laughing. Finally arrived in the land of freedom. From Incheon Airport I moved to NIS investigation facility. Received investigation for 1 month there. First day investigator said, don't be nervous. We're here to help you. Just need to verify identity and understand defection circumstances. Different from what I learned in North Korea. NIS wasn't a scary place. Investigation was systematic. Asked about my background, family, career, defection motive and route. Especially interested that I was Ri Sol-ju's personal secretary. 10 years as Ri Sol-ju's secretary? Then you must know a lot about North Korea's highest levels. I nodded. Yes, I saw a lot. I submitted the USB. After checking contents, investigators were amazed. This detailed North Korean internal information is first time. Especially Kim Jong-un and Ri Sol-ju's private life. High cadre's conversation recordings are truly shocking. Hardest part of investigation was questions about Ri Sol-ju. What happened to her now? I asked. Investigators' expression darkened. Not good. Completely isolated. All outside contact cut off. Essentially confined. Hearing that, my heart felt torn. Ri Sol-ju was suffering because of me. Was I too hasty? No. Ri Sol-ju herself wanted this. She was prepared for this result. After 1 month investigation, I went to Hanawan, Defector Settlement Support Facility in Ansung, Gyeonggi Province. Received 3 months Korean society adaptation education there. First class was about democracy. Republic of Korea is a country where citizens are masters. Government works for citizens. Citizens choose government by voting. Shocking. Unimaginable in North Korea. Also received economic education. Market economy moves by supply and demand. Anyone can freely choose jobs and do business. Completely different from North Korea's ration economy. Most amazing was internet. Can freely see information from around the world. No censorship, no restrictions. First time opening Google, searched, North Korea. Thousands of articles and videos appeared. North Korea seen from outside was too different from what I knew. Cultural shock was big too. Convenience stores having food 24 hours, people freely reading books on subway, police not checking travel passes on streets. Everything was amazing. Made friends with other defectors at Hanawon. Woman in her 20s from North Hamgyong, man in his 30s from South Pyongan, couple in their 40s from Ryonggang. Everyone had their own stories. After 3 months education, I entered society. Started new life in a small studio in Seoul provided by government. Also received 7 million won settlement money. Money you couldn't save in a lifetime in North Korea. First few months were really hard. Everything too fast and complex. How to take subway, do bank business, use cell phone. Everything was new. Hardest was relationships with people. Koreans spoke and moved too fast. I always seemed one beat late. My accent was strange too. You still have North Korean accent, people said. After 6 months, I got a job at a Ministry of Unification agency. Working as North Korea expert. They said my experience and knowledge helps prepare for unification. Working, I organized the USB materials. Kim Jong-un's voice recordings, High Kadri's corruption evidence, Ri Sol-ju's diary. Everything gradually became known to the world. One day a year later, I heard amazing news. A high-ranking person defected from North Korea and brought news about Ri Sol-ju. Ri Sol-ju is still alive, but completely isolated. She sent a message. The message was simple. Wonder if Soyeon comrade is safe. And if our promise is being kept. Hearing that, I cried. Ri Sol-ju worrying about me even in that situation. I immediately sent reply. Carrying out the mission you entrusted. Truth has been told to the world and change has begun. Your sacrifice was not in vain. 2 years later now, I'm living new life in Republic of Korea. Still difficult parts to adapt, but I feel the preciousness of freedom every day. Waking up mornings with no one monitoring, being able to freely say what I want, freely choosing what food I want. Things unimaginable in North Korea. Sometimes I meet Ri Sol-ju in dreams. She always smiles sadly saying, "Thank you, Soyeon comrade. Thanks to you the truth was told to the world." Each time I vow, until the day North Korea becomes free too, I'll keep trying. Republic of Korea is truly amazing country. Starting from ruins after Korean War, now world's top 10 economy. K-pop, K-drama, semiconductors, cars. Whole world watches Korea. Compared to North Korea, it's heaven. Here no one starves. Even poor people receive government support. Can get hospital treatment. Children get free school meals. Really a country for its citizens, I feel every day. Someday North Korea will change too. The truth Ri Sol-ju told risking her life will eventually reach that land too. North Korean people will find freedom. When that day comes, I'll meet Ri Sol-ju again. Under free skies. Then I'll say, "Comrade, I kept the promise. I told the world the truth." Even now I remember the laughter I heard at Incheon Airport every day. The sound of freedom where no one monitors, no one controls. Someday all North Korean people will be able to laugh like that too. That is the true unification Ri Sol-ju and I dreamed of.